Very much indeed. Now, as we've been hearing, EU foreign ministers are meeting in Luxembourg on Monday to discuss responses to the escalating crisis in Ukraine. Measures could include a new list of people to be targeted for sanctions. The BBC's Jeremy Howell looks at their options.
As EU foreign ministers gather for their talks, chaos reigns in eastern Ukraine. It's widely thought the Kremlin is orchestrating it. Europe, along with the US, has already imposed travel bans and asset freezes on named Russian officials in response to its earlier seizure of Crimea. A senior EU official has said this week foreign ministers will be planning further measures. If Russian forces were to invade Ukraine, options would include banning Russian banks and businesses from Europe's financial markets, banning the import of Russian oil, and banning the export of defense and technical equipment to Russia. For now, however, sanctions are likely to be much softer.
We're talking about a bloc of 28 very different countries, all of which have different interests and political, economic relations to Russia, so it's very difficult for them to come to consensus. The only thing that they'll realistically be discussing is potentially, the key word here being potentially, adding to the list of individual sanctions.
It's unlikely such sanctions will change the Kremlin's strategy. Since the start of the crisis in Ukraine, share values have plunged on Moscow's stock exchanges and $100 billion worth of assets have been shifted out of Russia. But, says analyst Dara Makdoul, Russia's leaders are pursuing their political goals there, oblivious to the economic costs.
The economic pain is already there, it's already coming, and they haven't reversed course, which indicates that these kind of nationalist sentiments, these kind of more ideologically based regathering of Russian lands kind of campaign is taking precedence over more practical, if you want, economic ambitions.
If any new EU sanctions are agreed, they're likely to be symbolic ones to register a protest against Russia's continuing involvement in Ukraine. Later this week, European officials will meet counterparts from the US, Russia and Ukraine to try and negotiate a diplomatic solution to the crisis. Jeremy Howell, BBC News.